Crump, the Queen of Real Estate here at the Coastal Leaders Realty Group. Thank you for joining us this week's Tea Crumpets. And today our special guest is Bryant Hornsby. He is the closing attorney for Reli Title. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and you're also from Selma.
Yes.
We have another Selmanite here, born and raised.
Right.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us today. That's exciting. I love having people from Selma.
Yes.
On my green couch. So tell us a little bit, about yourself, Reli Title.
Okay. Reli is a little over 25 years old. So we're one of the original title companies in Alabama. Probably I think it's the largest, pretty sure. We've got over 18 locations.
That's awesome.
I'm originally, from Selma, obviously. Went to college at Bama.
Yeah, Roll
Tide, of course.
Yeah. He's a little younger than me, so we didn't cross paths in school.
And then went to law school in Birmingham. Started doing personal injury work and did not want to do that anymore. So I got into real estate about 6.5 years ago. Yeah. And just love doing real estate. I love doing closings.
Before Sally.
Yep. Love doing closings. I love, everything that real estate law brings. Most people are, I think the best way to describe it is most people are happy in this industry.
They are, yes.
You have a small percentage that aren't, but 90% of the time, I think people are happy to buy or sell.
Yes. New chapters in people's lives, and it's nice seeing people smile and know that you help them make that new chapter actually happen.
That's right.
So it's definitely gratifying in that sense. And you mentioned you have several locations.
Yes.
And where exactly is your office for people watching?
So my office is right here at the wharf. We're right above Tee Off.
Yes.
In the second level of the office suites up there. We've got our other coastal locations. We've got one in Spanish Fort and one in Mobile. Those are our three on the coast, with the exception to Alice Beach. That's Florida.
And that's Florida.
So we do have a Florida location as well. It's on the coast.
And what's nice is that you also have one as far as north in Alabama as Huntsville too.
All the way up to Huntsville, Coleman, all around Birmingham, Montgomery. Out to Winfield, Lake Martin.
Oh,
so
I love
we cover the whole state.
So what's nice is that, for instance, we have clients, and I have a lot of clients that live in other areas of the state. If they were to buy or sell a property here at this and they can't make it, are they able to actually go to those locations and sign their side?
Yep, they can go to any of our spots, no additional charge.
That's awesome. It makes it a lot easier.
Flexible.
Well, because a lot of times what happens is, and is people, it's hard to find a notary. Then guess what? If they miss a spot or if they don't get it, so it's really nice, and that's very accommodating for people that they can pop into one of the locations there if they can't make it here. So
we have a lot of buyers from Birmingham buying down here.
For sure, even Mobile. I have
over in Mobile.
Yes, that's
they don't have to travel.
Yeah, because a lot of times with work and such, it gets in the way and they just can't make it. So no, that's great. And a lot of times our properties are rented. If they're buying a condo, they're not going to be able to take possession technically right then and there. So no, that's awesome to know, and I'm glad to know that. And so, talk a little bit more about the title, such. What exactly do y'all see behind the scenes that people don't see a lot of times? I always say realtors are like ducks gliding across the water. We make it look so smooth, but underneath we're paddling like hell. And so
that's a lot of what we do too. From the moment we get a contract, obviously it's going to our title underwriters, and we have. That's the beautiful thing about Realize. We got, they're my coworkers and friends. So we have our own searchers, our own underwriters. Everything is in house. 90% of what we do is in house. So we have control. We maintain control over that process, which helps speed it up. But
that definitely is a huge factor in the time frame.
Yeah. So they're digging into the records and trying to come up with the title chain, obviously, and get it to the current owner to make sure there's nothing in the background. So we're working hard to get to that closing date and make sure it's clear. And
well, that definitely is helpful, and it definitely takes us into the next question, because my next question was, how long does a title search usually take?
Okay, so for us, we're typically around 2 to 3 days tops.
That's amazing.
We do have periods,
especially for us when we're dealing with cash.
Yes, and we can accommodate obviously rush requests and kind of bump it to the top, but we do have some periods, of course, where there's an influx of orders and it might bump out to 5-7 days, but for the most part they've been really good, and we'll hire and that's the control we're talking about. We can hire additional underwriters as needed, depending on the markets. You know, they fluctuate. So, but right now we're typically getting them back in 2 to 3 days.
That's amazing. And so obviously, if there's a lien issue, that can delay trying to get everything resolved. But does Reli actually help in that process of resolving it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's some things that they can't.
Yes. So if there's any sort of liens or anything like that on the property, of course we're getting that typically well in advance of the closing date, and we'll go to work immediately on it. We're not going to sit around and wait to see if it passes. Appraisal or any of those things. I don't like to do that because that could cause delays later down the line. So we'll start working on that immediately. Work with the sellers, getting payoffs on those liens, so we're ready to go for closing, or verifying that they're the seller actually is the same person as the lien that shows up on title. So
yeah, that's very true. There's a lot of John Smiths.
And any issues, we're working on them.
Yeah. Well, I love the fact that y'all don't delay the closing. I mean, y'all don't delay the title search for that very reason, because there are things that pop up, and sometimes people have paid HOA fees or didn't know. Assessments are so expensive now, and those HOAs are putting liens on property. So, but no, that's great. And so, what are some red flags that we should watch for? As a realtor, that y'all see on y'all's end, that something that some trigger words that we should say. Oh, we need to make sure the title is clear.
That's right.
No clouds.
the best one that I always hear, that it kind of is ironic in a sense, because it makes you think that it should be good, but it's not. It's when someone says it's been in the family forever. Yeah. Because those are typically the worst ones, because what people don't realize is if it's been in the family, it's usually handshake deals. People have passed away, unfortunately, and then it goes per Alabama law, or if they had a will and probate, they don't typically hire title when it's been in the family to make sure that it's clean.
Yeah,
so usually
there could be some people who had inherited that might have had that now their kids are part owners, and so someone might,
and they might live in Washington or something,
or they had a family rift and they don't talk.
Correct. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
And that and unfortunately, if they're a legal heir, they better be talking, because
they can't sell it.
They can't sell it without that signature, and that forces a lot of interesting questions sometimes. So that's one of the trigger words.
Yeah.
I always advise agents to ask the tough questions. Don't be afraid to ask if there's been any divorce situations or any deaths. In divorce situations.
Yes.
Because it has to be final, or if it's not final, then it's still considered married. And some people don't think that. They say, well, it's been filed, she's got nothing to do with it, or he's got nothing to do with it. Well, not in my eyes.
And in the state, if they have a spouse and it's considered homestead,
and
they still have to.
Order.
Yeah, they still have to sign. A lot of people don't realize that just because they're not on the deed, but it's their homestead and they're married. It's like, no, they still have to sign.
Yeah, you have homestead rights in Alabama. You got to make sure that we'll check into that. As a lot of people think that it's just me on the title. You don't have to bother with her, or and
I think my mother had someone show up with their mistress and not the wife, and I think that's when we realized, oh, that's the actual law. Like you can't just
some people are very protective over that. They're like, no, it's just mine, and I have to call and explain that this is the law in Alabama. So without her signature, I can't. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
you're not selling it.
There's a lot of those conversations that happen, but those are two of the big ones that I think can trip people up.
I think the one, it's been in our family forever. I've never heard of that, but that is definitely, it makes perfect sense.
I did. Before I moved down to the coast, I did a lot in Coleman, so we had a lot of those. Acreage properties.
I was just gonna say land.
People don't touch for 50 years, and it just gets worse and worse.
It's just like down here when builders come in and the investors, they want to buy big parcels of property, and it's been farmland and then passed down to 3 generations.
The farmland would be a perfect example of that.
So people are like, now the grandkids or the great grandkids have it. They're like, wait, we're not gonna farm. We don't even live there. Let's sell it to this to D.R. Horton, DSLD. Just so that they can make the money, and so that definitely makes sense. So what's an unusual thing you've ever happened at a closing? I mean, I know I have stories. But.
Yeah. So this is something that I guess could be practical and helpful too, as for realtors, thinking ahead. But I had some buyers one time, and they drove 12 hours from Connecticut. They were moving to Alabama, and man, they had their whole family packed up. They had moving vans. I mean, they were never planning on going back. This was a move for them. Well, we get to closing. We're sitting at the table, we're signing, and he was getting ready to initiate the wire for his cash to close. And it was a pretty big amount. And he had to be present at the bank. Well, there is no branch here or anywhere close to here. It's a local Connecticut only bank. And he tried talking to the manager, he tried talking to the owner, I mean, you name it, and every single one of them shut him down and said, nope, you have to be present or we're not sending a wire. So I could just see the panic on his face, and I felt sorry for him because he couldn't even go get a cashier's check.
He's probably knew them since
forever.
Probably went to high school and grammar school with them.
So we had to pull some strings there, and that's one thing about Reli is we're very flexible on that end. We're large enough to accommodate for things like this, and I made some phone calls, and we were able to take a large personal check, which we don't typically do. So he did not have to. He was about to get in the car and drive
or fly
12 hours back, and he was going to drive literally just turn around and come back just to go get a check. But that's something that is so simple that you don't, in the chaos of a move, you're not thinking ahead until you get to that point. You're like, okay, I need to get this money, and then not realizing that your bank won't do that.
I had a situation. Thankfully, it wasn't that big of a amount, but my clients were about to write a check for a couple of thousand, and they had a chase. And they're like, I'm sorry, we can't take personal check. And the bank was about to close, and I was like, oh my gosh. I said, and they were moving in, and I said, write me the check. I'm going to race down there. I went down there, got a cashier's check, and hopefully that wouldn't leave. But I mean, hey, my clients got in. This was several years ago, so sometimes you just got to do things to help.
We're flexible. I mean, that's the biggest thing is being accommodating and flexible, and doing our due diligence. Of course, we're I'm going to read the room and see if I think it's something that's fraudulent, because we deal with you and I both. That's one of the big things today is they're very clever, and
they are.
We have a lot of technology to help us out with that. And
that's something good too.
Constantly investing.
Yes.
That's part of being a big company.
Cyberware.
We're able to spend all that money to protect y'all and to protect ourselves.
Yes, definitely. I'm sure
it's
that
not
helps
going
with your
anywhere.
E&O insurance too.
It's not going anywhere, and they're getting more and more clever.
They are.
That we see.
Yeah, they actually sent to Ted. They actually fraudulent sellers actually sent the actual buyer's driver's license.
Yeah.
So who would it? It's pretty scary.
Yeah, it's very scary.
You can't be
they'll
too
have
careful.
fake notaries. They'll have fake IDs. They'll make it. They'll make it really,
smart.
really good.
Yeah.
So we got to be.
They need to do that for the greater good, not
to. I mean, it would be. Yeah, they could solve world problems. That's how smart these people are.
Really, it could. So tell us what's one of your favorite things that you love about closings and such. Who you like sitting across from at the table?
I love first time home buyers. I always just think to the first time I bought a house and what, maybe the experience that I had and the things that, they didn't tell me. Maybe sometimes they don't want to hear it, but most of them are eager to learn, and I try to give them as many tips as I can about being a first time home buyer and things that I would have liked to have known, in that seat. So I try to give them as much information as I can, and usually it's just fun for me to see how excited they are.
I know.
It's a house. You've been renting forever, and now you finally have a place to call your own.
The big new chapter. It is. It's
so
very gratifying.
Those are exciting.
Yeah. Now, if you could leave our viewers with one piece of advice with their next transaction, make it smoother, what would it be?
I think it's the biggest thing. I think that's influenced me. It's very simple. When I was going through our ceremony for the bar after we passed the bar exam, everybody's standing around there, large crowds. You got a bunch of people getting up on stage, have no clue what any of them said but one person, and all he said was, "Do what you say you're going to do."
Yeah.
And it's so simple that's the one thing that stuck with me since then. If I tell somebody that I'll get it done, then you have confidence in me that I'm going to go get it done.
Yes.
And that, you know, obviously rolls down to communication.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate very well. Give more information that's needed, because we can never have too little of information to get it smoothly across the table.
Mm-hmm.
But especially just, you know, if you say, I'm going to go order that for you, then they can count on you to do it.
Correct.
And that is worth its weight in gold. I mean,
I
that
agree.
one thing that he said has stuck with me this long, and
I
I think about that every time I tell somebody. I'm like, do I really want to do that? You know, now, but I'm like, I told him I would do it, so I'm gonna go do it.
I gotta do it. Yep, I think
so
that's
it's just
a good piece of advice for sure.
It's
That's
a big
just
one.
in life too.
In life, in general, be accountable.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I love that, and I think that you gave some really good information. And I definitely know I'll be taking some of this information, especially when they say it's been in our family forever. I'm like,
you're gonna be red flagging.
Yeah, red flags will be coming out.
Yeah, hey, we need a to add on to that. We do preliminary title searches. That's what we call them. I think listing binder.
Yeah.
So if you have any of those red flag issues,
please
send it to me first, so we can search it and make sure before you get that
I can actually sell it.
Because contracts will fall through.
Yes.
Because they're like, oh, well, we can't clear. It's going to take 2 months to clear title.
Yes.
We can't wait that long.
Any trigger words.
But you would have known that, you know, prior, because we've already searched it and brought it back.
Yes.
While it's sitting on the market.
I think that's perfect, and then we can clear up any of those red flags.
Clear them up, and then it's
ready
smooth
to go.
sailing.
And then all we're just waiting on is a buyer.
Yep. The last thing you want to do is market a property that you
can't sell.
That you can't sell yet. So you get that contract, the buyers are excited, and then they realize, oh wait, how long is it going to take to clear that?
Yes. So no, I think that's good to know. So we will definitely. There might be one already I'm thinking of right now. So, well, good deal. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have your contact information at the end, and thank you for watching. I hope you learned something.
Thank you.